So now you're affiliated with the Mafia, but you're not a made man at this point. You're just an associate,
An
right?
associate, right.
And during this time, you were doing larceny, hijacking, armed robbery, that type of thing?
Absolutely.
What were some of the most violent things you were doing during this time?
I think when you do armed robberies and all that stuff, or hijacking, and these things are all pretty violent. But I never killed anybody at that point.
But I guess you were breaking arms and legs and...
Well, yeah, fights, go there with a bat. One time, Carmine Persico called me down. And this guy who owned a washing machine factory, commercial stuff, was banging somebody's wife. And it upset Carmine Persico, and he told me, he says, I'm going to give you a contract to go after him. I want you to give him a terrific beating, and I want you to take back his ear. I said, okay. I got in the car with Shorty, and I said, but for real, bro? I mean, I'll give the guy a beating. Want me to take his ear back? That's fucking crazy. He said, that's what he said. If you can get his fucking ear, take it back. We went to this factory, me and his nephew, Tommy Spiro, and we had a plan. We walked in. Tommy would talk to him about buying commercial dryers, and we were going to open up a store. And he pointed to a piece of paper where the guy would lean over to read what he's talking about, and I hit him with a blackjack across the head. He went down, but real big guy, and he started to get up. When he was getting up, he used the counter to put his hands on the counter. And I whacked his hands. I didn't want him to get up. And one of the fingers flew off. And I jumped over. I started hitting him, but his workers were coming out from the back. One guy made it to the door. I backhanded him with the blackjack, hit him in the face, jumped back out. It was time to bail out. I was losing control of this thing. We got away. And I looked for the finger for a split second or two. I couldn't find it. I was going to bring that back. I saw Shorty, told him the story. And we went down to report to Carroll Street to speak to Carmine Persico. And I started telling the story, and he started laughing. He said, one of the guys on the inside, one of the workers, is one of my guys. I already know the story. He said, you try to find this figure? I said, I was, yes, but there was just too many of them coming out, and I had to take off. He said, but I know you knocked this finger off. I got this. Give me a hug, give me a kiss. So I became, in his eyes, because he was very violent, a rising star.
Okay. And Joe Colombo, who was the boss at the time, he liked you as well.
Yeah.
Did he have you go and like picket FBI headquarters?
Yes.
Okay, because he was doing the whole Italian American Civil Rights League initiative.
Yeah, yeah. Well, Shorty told me, he said, we have to go down and picket. We're going to picket the FBI building. Mm-hmm. And it was for a guy named Sonny Franchise. He was the underboss at that point. He got arrested on some bullshit accounts that he's saying he wasn't guilty or whatever. And a few other issues. So we were going to go down. I think there was 12 guys the day we went down. Me, Shorty Spiro, his nephew Tommy Spiro, and about 8 or 9 other guys. I saw a blonde-headed woman. I think she had blonde hair, walking, and a bunch of guys around her. And I remember asking Shorty, who's that? And he said, that's Sonny's wife. She's picketing with us. There was FBI guys hanging out windows, taking pictures, and I remember telling Shorty, we're committing suicide, bro. These guys are taking pictures of us. We're all going to go to prison here doing this. This is fucking nuts. I know. 2 days later, 3 days later, Shorty must have talked with Carmine, and they pulled us off. We didn't have to do it anymore. And we walked away from that. But these things went on for a few years. It started to build up, and, there was more meetings and marches and all that bullshit.
Yeah. And at this point, the books were still closed on Made Men. I guess the books had closed in 57?
Yes, 55 or 57.
Okay.
One of those days.
And at that point, did you really want to be a made man?
I didn't even think about it.
Didn't think.
It was closed for years and years and years. There was no mention of it being opened. So it was the last thing I thought of.